Hello everyone, today we're going to study chapter 7 of the novel David Copperfield for Prep 2. So here are the 4 main points that we're going to learn about while reading this chapter. The first point, David Copperfield and Dora's mutual love. So in this chapter we're going to know that Dora is also in love with David Copperfield. The second point, the Lady Julia Mells. So, we're going to know more about this character and how she's going to help David Copperfield express his love to Dora. The third point, Miss Betsy Trotwood's misfortune. So, we're going to know that Miss Betsy is going to go through a bad situation and how this would affect David Copperfield. The fourth point, Mr. Micawber's disguise. So we're going to know why Mr. Micawber is going to change his identity. Here is a full summary of this chapter. Let's start. Good news, bad news. Peggotty decides to live with David in London after Parks's death, and David does his best to comfort her. David is in deep love with Dora. One day, Mr. Spenlow invites David to a picnic as a celebration of Dora's birthday. So David decides to buy some good clothes, flowers, and hire a horse. Dora tells David that Miss Murdstone will be away for 3 weeks and that she will be accompanied by Miss Julia Mells. Miss Mells tells David and Dora that they should confess their love to each other. David confesses his love to Dora, and they decide to keep their engagement as a secret from Mr. Spenlow. David then writes a letter to Agnes to tell her about Dora and to get her approval. Tommy Traddles visits David and they talk about their loved ones, Sophie for Tommy and Dora for David. Tommy Traddles tells David that he no longer lives with the Micawbers because the creditors have demanded payment of his debts and that Mr. Micawber has had to move to another house, changing his name to Mortimer. Miss Betsy visits David, accompanied by Mr. Deck. She has all her belongings with her, telling David that she has lost all her money. Miss Betsy tells David that Peggotty is a good woman, as she offered to give Miss Betsy some of the money she inherited from her husband. Miss Betsy learns about Dora from Peggotty, and she tells David that he is a loving person, like his mother, and that he should love someone who is sensible and serious. David is troubled, as without money he won't be able to marry Dora. Agnes tells David that Uriah is now her father's partner and that his influence over her father is far great. And she tells David that Uriah and his mother are now living with her and her father, who drinks more than ever. Miss Betsy tells David and Agnes that her lawyer used to help her invest her money in the right companies, but she thought that Mr. Wickfield wasn't such a good lawyer as he used to be, so she decided to invest her money herself. But now there isn't any money. Agnes offers David a job as he will be secretary for Dr. Strong, who is now retired, and David accepts the offer happily. So now let's read these questions. Number 1. Where did Peggotty go after her husband's death? She went to London to live with David. Number 2. What did David decide to do after Mr. Spenlow's invitation to Dora's birthday party? He decided to buy expensive clothes and to hire a handsome white horse. Number 3. Why did David go to Covent Garden Market? To buy the most beautiful flowers for Dora. Number 4. At the party, what did Miss Dora tell David about Miss Murdstone? She told him that Miss Murdstone would be away for 3 weeks and that she would be accompanied by her dear friend Julia Mells. Number 5. How did Julia Mells help David and Dora declare their love? She helped them confess love and invited David to see Dora at her house. Number 6. Why did Aunt Trotwood come to London? She came to live with David as she had lost all her money. Number 7. Why was Tommy no longer living with the Micawbers? Because Mr. Micawber's creditors demanded payment of his debts, so Mr. Micawber had to move to another house. Number 8. Why did Mr. Micawber call himself Mortimer? He was trying to avoid his creditors who demanded payment. Number 9. Why was David troubled when he knew that his aunt lost her money? Because he wouldn't be able to marry Dora. Number 10. How did Miss Betsy lose her money? Her lawyer, Mr. Wakefield, helped her invest her money in the right companies, but she thought that he was not a good lawyer as he used to be, so she decided to invest the money herself, and as a result, she lost the money. Number 11. What was the job offered to David? He was offered a job as a secretary to Dr. Strong, the headmaster of the school in Canterbury. Comment. Take the chance that life offers you. These words were said by Julia Mells to David and Dora when they were at the party and she was trying to make them confess love to each other. He's even changed his name to Mortimer. These words were said by Traddles to David when David asked about Mr. Micawber, who changed his name to avoid his creditors. I just hope that love and truth will always be stronger than evil. These words were said by Agnes to David when she told him that Uriah Heep became her father's partner and that he came with his mother to live in their house. So that's it for today. I hope you understand this lesson. Goodbye.